Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today's review, the Parkland 1.3 kilowatts stove slash heater. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's review, I've been sent in by a viewer. Parkland have basically produced a camping heater. Now they're nothing new. They've been out for a while. They've been out years, but the designs over the years have actually changed. And I thought I'd have to do a review on this one because this one's quite good. It's a lot smaller than the original ones, but this is obviously also used as a stove and a heater. Some of them are heaters, some of them are both. Again, that's nothing really new, but a lot of them are going more towards dual use now, and they're all pretty much the same setup. All still take butane gas canisters, which are these. These are 227 gram butane canisters. Now, I've looked on the instructions and they do say that this will last about 6 hours on half heat. So we'll definitely be giving that one a try. I used to have one of these stoves, not this exact one, a green one. It was a bit bigger and I had it for years, and it was all right for a while, and then it just started degrading, rusting. I took it out camping with me on boat trips and things like that. And it just broke. But I must have had it a good 8 years. It was always in the shed when it was damp in winter time and stuff, and it just slightly started rusting and corroding. Eventually, it just gave up. But they are pretty decent little heaters. Now, I'm going to do some tests on this. I want to do some tests in my house, and I'm going to try and gather as much information as I can on how long it will roughly last. It says 1.3 kilowatts. That's quite a lot for a little heater, and I'm hoping it's just going to heat up a standard size room, because the way things are going at the minute, we all know that gas prices, electric's high, fuel's high, inflation's high. And when I got sent this, I thought I'm going to have to start doing some reviews on trying to beat this sort of crisis in some shape or form, even if it's just to take the chill off. If it can help, if this video could help just one family, a young single mom, single dad, things like that, just to try and take the edge off the heating bills, so they can have a better way of life and have a bit more money in your pocket, I'm going to try. We did a stove a couple of weeks ago. It was good, but I wouldn't necessarily have that indoors. It did give off a lot of fumes and stuff, but that was paraffin. Now this one's gas. Now these canisters, I've looked online and they're about £5 for 4. Now, if you go for, they do 18 packs, they do 50 packs, they do 72 packs, I believe. I've looked at the 18 and they're about 12 quid. Now, that works out about £1.50 a can. So over 6 hours on half heat, that's not actually bad. It'll take the chill off. And obviously also you can use it for cooking. The great thing about these is when they first came out, a lot of them didn't really work correct. A lot of them had this pin design. My last one, I kept pulling this pin. It didn't seem to work. This design now, all you do is you basically pull this pin here, and there is a small little button at the back. You pull the pin, and it pops up, and that's your heater. Now this comes off. This is basically just a plate, stainless steel plate for a pan. So you can put a pan on that, no problem. Decent, strong enough, and that's just to basically lift it up a couple of inch off the grill. Now that looks really nice. It's smart, it's clean, it's a decent material. It's made of steel. It's nice and rigid. It isn't going to go anywhere. A lot of problems with these camp stoves, these never click in properly, but this one seems to stay in really well. That's your pin to release it, and that pin will just obviously turn it round, and then you can have it as a stove on top. That's your simple instructions. Click that down, that'll lock that gas canister in, and then you just flick it onto heat, and then when you want to ignite it, you put it onto full, and that will give you your ignition. Pretty straightforward, nothing to it really. They are decent little camping items. They're not really that heavy. The only downside is they're a bit bulky, so it wouldn't be put this in a bag to go camping necessarily. You know, there is smaller foldable wood stoves for that sort of application. But if you're going away with your family in a tent for the weekend or something like that, these are great. They do heat up really well in small spaces. Few operation guidelines there, guys. You can see all that. Give you a couple of seconds to read all that if you want to. If you read all that nitty gritty. But overall, this one's pretty decent. A lot of them were bigger than that. Now they've made them a lot smaller, which is great because obviously anything can save space, and that's what we want. So they've re-engineered the design a bit better, and it basically just gives you a bit of instructions. Outdoor heater, butane gas, 1.3 kilowatts, consumption 90 gram an hour, and just the injector size. Well, no one's really going to be bothered about that. Depress button to pivot, burner head. Yeah, a couple of little warnings. Again, made in China, but everything is. But overall, I think this is a good little stove. If it's it looks exactly the same as my last one, apart from my last one was slightly bigger, and they seem to have changed the design around. I'm pretty sure my last one was the opposite way around. So this heater burner head was on the front. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty much sure. So they've pretty much changed the design quite a lot. Kept the basics of the front design, and they've just changed it around. Comes with a nice little handle. It's a decent little heater. And then obviously you just pull this pin on the side, little grenade pin. There is a button on this side. Pull the pin, push that in, and it goes back down to a stove, and you can stick a pan on top. Now, if the heat comes out at 1.3 kilowatts, that's going to heat up water and cooking and things like that, no problem. And then this just goes back on top, pushes in, job done. So we'll put this on review, guys. We'll do a bit of testing, and we'll see how we get on. So guys, what do we think to it? Now, I know what you're going to say. Them eggs was horrendous to cook. Yeah, I ain't no Jamie Oliver. Try cooking and filming and editing and things like that. You end up knocking the camera over and it's just a complete mess. So I tried my best. So at least we know that it can cook and it can heat. Now, when we did the testing on the boil, I always go by 3 rules. Okay, so one, we'll always use tap water straight from the cold tap, because a lot of people will edit videos and half boil the water, things like that. We don't do that on this channel. So one, we'll use cold water, always from the tap. 2, we'll use 2 litres of water, because we feel that a lot of people do reviews on, boiling 1 cup of water. Well, that's no good for anything really, unless you're backpacking and using, dehydrated meals, or you just want a hot drink on the go. So we'll always use 2 litres of water, one that we feel that you can get a couple of drinks of water out of that, couple of cups. 2, you can also boil, with a litre of water, some, a bit of pasta for yourselves, you and your family and your kids or whatever, and just a bit of extra water left over just to wash the pots and things like that. So we always do 2 litres of water. And the third one is we don't have the lids on. Now, you would cut the time in half with putting the saucepan lid on, for the boil. We don't do that. We just want to make sure that, we'll test it as much as it can and put it through its pace to see how much it would heat up under the worst conditions going. So that's what we did. So just remember, you could probably half your boiling time, or at least a good third, by putting the lid on, okay? Next, what I want to talk about is more of a risk. They're not foolproof, guys, okay? Do not leave these in enclosed spaces. In tents and stuff, that's all right, because you're open to the elements. You've got, air coming in, circulation and things like that. We tried this on a room in my living room, which is about 4 meters, be about 5 meters. And it heated that up to about 26 degrees. Lovely. It was toasty. It was really nice. That was on full. And then we turned it down to half and it just let it trickle. That was comfortable. It was really nice. It worked. But please make sure, you don't leave them on at night time when you go to sleep. God forbid that, you don't wake up. Definitely do not leave it unattended for any amount of time. Please keep your kids, animals, pets away from it at all times, because it does get hot. If you notice, it's starting to go slightly purple now, where it's the stainless is just starting to temper a bit. But please, 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 just keep away from it and keep it away. Lift it off the ground slightly if you're going to have it in a living room or a room with this carpet or anything like that. Just put it on a metal tray or something like that, just to keep it off the ground. It doesn't get hot underneath. We've tried that. Stays cool at all times. The heat's mainly from halfway up that way. Down below here and on the ground, it's always cold, because obviously the gas and everything. It's got plenty of ventilation. But please, please, please do not put it near any fabrics or curtains or sofas and things like that. Okay. Thirdly, these range from about 25 to 40-ish pounds. Okay. Most of the time they're about £25. So do your research and do look from all over the internet and things like that. They are really cheap. A lot of third-party companies will sell you a lot more pricey, but don't fall for that. You can get them on Temu, Shein, TikTok. I've seen them on eBay, Amazon, and they're all about £25. Now, in the testing we did, obviously with the time, it got to about 3 hours on full. So we worked out that it's going to be around about 6 hours on half, which is great. So I thought, for an average family, just to warm up a room, to keep warm, keep the chill off you, I thought that was pretty good. At £1.50 a night, average can would be dead cheap. When it comes to the cooking, I thought that was even better, because average cooking time, if worst comes to the worst and you had to really use just a pan to cook, because we all know that the ovens are like 3 kilowatts and they just rinse electric. But I thought if you had to do spag bowls, stir fries, curries, things like that in pans, you could cook for at least 4 days or 4 meals when you got home from work at night for about £1.50. And I thought that was pretty good. So say maximum you're going to need probably 2 cans a week. You're talking £12 a week to cook on. Sorry, a month. I thought that was pretty good. £3 a week. To save, worst come to the worst, you had to save and not use your cooker and things like that, or your gas hob. Just cook on one of these with a pan. I thought that was fantastic. So energy efficient. And once that starts glowing red, it really started cooking then. And again, I just thought for the price of it, for £25, I thought you could really cut your bills down with one of these. Again, they're not massively, output of power. Your gas hob will always be better because that's just what it is. If you had to really cook on this in emergency or anything like that, or camping, you could quite happily cook on this, in a frying pan and things, and boiling water to cook pasta and stuff. Again, put a lid on it. You're probably talking 5-6 minutes for a rolling boil. You can start chucking your meal in. I thought this was absolutely great. If you do have any questions, guys, please get to me in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to the video. It really helps the channel out. We are ad free at the moment, which is great. So you are getting full length videos. But I thought to beat the heat crisis and the cost of living in this is brilliant. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next time.